The teachings of Rabbi Ephraim Sprecher, Dean of Students at Diaspora Yeshiva on Mount Zion, Jerusalem.
Sefirat HaOmer, climbing our soul ladder. What do I mean by that? We count the Omer. What do you mean we count the Omer? What is that all about? Omer is an ancient measure in the Bible, like a kilo today. We start counting from the second day of Pesach, when they brought a Omer of barley on the Mizbeach. And this way Hashem says, you bring an Omer of barley on the Mizbeach, a kilo of arm on the Mizbeach, and I will bless your crops will become bountiful. So when that happens on the second day of Pesach, we have to start counting. So what is the connection? What are we counting about? The climbing our soul ladder day by day. It's our personal spiritual journey to Kabbalat Torah. Every one of us has to climb our soul ladder during these 7 weeks between Pesach and Shavuos to get ready for the main event. Step by step and day by day. But what's the kesha to the Omer? Omer of barley that was brought on the Mizbeach. When you do that on the second day of Pesach, you begin to count. What's the connection? We want to make our personal spiritual journey from physical redemption to spiritual redemption. So why tie it to a kilo of barley? What's the connection? So the Kabbalists explain that barley is a machal behemah. Barley is animal food. We bring an omer of barley on the Mizbeach on Pesach. Our goal now during these 7 weeks is to refine, harness, channel, and transform and elevate our physical nefesh bahamit. All of us have an animal instinct in us, our lusts, our desires. So the tafkid of these 7 weeks is to channel, transform, and elevate our physical nefesh bahamit, which is machal behemah, which is an omer and a barley, and therefore the counting is connected to the omer of barley on the Mizbeach, to refine ourselves, to get ready for Kabbalat Torah. My great-great-grandfather, B'nai Soska, says that the Sefirat HaOmer is divided into 2 stages, from Pesach up to the Lamed Bet of Omer, and then the 17 days after Lag BaOmer, 17 days to Shavuos. Why is it divided like that? So from Pesach to 32 days of the Omer, 32 in Hebrew is Lamed Bet, is Lev. And then after Lag BaOmer, another 17 days to Shavuos. What's the gematria of 17 in Hebrew? Tov. So the tafkid of Sefirat HaOmer is to acquire Lev Tov from the second day of Pesach until the day before Lag BaOmer. It's 32 days. 32 is gematria Lev, heart. You gotta have heart, lots and lots of heart. And then from Lag BaOmer till Shavuos is 17, which is gematria Tov. The tafkid of Sefirat HaOmer is to acquire a Lev Tov, a good heart for each other. But how do we accomplish this task? Just by counting the days? Rabbeinu Bechai tells us we were born to be mezakeh the Rabbim. Our tafkid in life is to assist and help others, to help anyone that needs our help, each in his own unique way, to get others to perform mitzvot, even if it will take time away from my own self-development and spiritual growth. We have to sacrifice our own spiritual growth and self-development if that's what it takes to help someone who's below us, to lift him up, to teach him even the basics of Judaism. That's why we're here for. During these weeks, the Talmudei, Rabbi Kiva's student, they died in the plague. I don't know if it was Corona, but 24,000 students died in the plague during these times of Sefirat HaOmer. Why? These great rabbis, what was their sin? They were so heavenly minded, but they were no earthly good. Their heads were in the clouds. They thought only of their own spiritual growth and development. They couldn't care less about their chaver, who knew less than them, to stop and help them, give them a friendly smile, an assist. No, they were only into themselves, them and God. Heavenly minded, but no earthly good. And therefore God took them out. Because we know derech eretz kodma laTorah. Decency, courtesy, helping each other comes before the Torah. Vayikra Rabbah Perik Tet. Derech eretz menschlichkeit, courtesy, comes even before the Torah. And therefore the Tur, the Orach Chaim Kuf Mem Bet, says something amazing. Someone is reading the Torah, and he makes a mistake. They all jump and stop, you're wrong. Even though he's wrong, people jump on him. Do they do correct? Says the Balaturim, you think you're doing right? So he made a mistake, but by you shouting at him, you are shaming him. And the Mishnah says you shame someone in public, you have no share in the world to come. So if you're going to call out, he made a mistake. You can whisper to him, the Gabbai next to him, fine, but you're going to call out from your seat, you're shaming him in public. And you're wrong. You lose your share in Olam Haba. Talmidei Rabbi Kiva, they were high-minded. When it comes to Ben Odom Lechavero, they were out to lunch. Selfish. We're into the I generation. iPad, iPod, iPhone. It's all about me. The Torah teaches during these 7 weeks. It's not just only about you. You have to reach out and touch someone less knowledgeable than you, less fortunate than you. Give him a friendly smile, a hello, an assist. So we count during these 7 weeks. You know, there's a halacha that in the evening, before you daven Ma'ariv and count the Sefira, if someone asks you what the count is tonight, you should say, yesterday was such and such. Yesterday was what? 10. Because if you say it, the right one, you can't make the bracha on the counting. That's a halacha like that. Someone asks you what the count is tonight, it's already dark, and you didn't count yet. You should say, yesterday the count was 10, but don't say what's going to be tonight if it's close to nightfall, because if you said it, you cannot make the bracha anymore. So there's this Baal Tshuva couple. You know, all my stories are true, but some did not happen yet. There's this Baal Tshuva couple. They became from during the Sefira. They don't know much. In fact, they know very little about Judaism, but they're eager to learn. So they become Baal Tshuva during the Sefira. So they learn this halacha. We teach them this halacha. Someone asks you what the count is, you didn't daven Ma'ariv, you didn't count the Sefira, say yesterday was X and X, so and so. So this Baal Tshuva guy comes home in the evening during Sefira. He didn't daven Ma'ariv yet. And he asks his wife, honey, what's for dinner? Now, she asked him, did you count Sefira yet? He says, no, honey, not yet. So she says, well, yesterday we had schnitzel and wild rice. Get it? He didn't count the Sefira yet. So what's for dinner tonight? So she said, yesterday we had goulash, schnitzel, and wild rice. Okay. Now, Sefirat HaOmer. Counting the Omer to reach out and touch someone. How do you honor God? By paying honor to a fellow human being. Ben Odom lechaver, between man and man. That's how you honor God. Because every human being has a tzelem Elohim inside of him. Chelik Elohim mimal. So when you honor a person, you're honoring the godly soul inside of him. So every time you do Ben Odom Lechavero, it's a tufer. You're helping the person, and you're also Kavayochel, helping God who lives inside each and every one of us. Sefirat HaOmer. Now, should women count too? Now, women can do a positive mitzvah which is time-bound if they want. According to Ashkenazi women, they do bracha. According to Sephardi women, they do the mitzvah without a bracha. Time-bound mitzvah, like sitting in a sukkah, shaking your lulav, it's a time-bound mitzvah. Women are not commanded, but if they want, they could do the mitzvah. And even Ashkenazi women, they also count with a bracha, or they do with a bracha. Sephardi women can do a time-bound mitzvah, but don't make a bracha because they can't say we were commanded. They weren't commanded. But the Rabbeinu Tam says, our Ashkenazi poskim, that even though personally they weren't commanded, they're part of Klal Yisrael. So even though they were not commanded personally to count the Omer or sit in the sukkah, they're part of Greater Israel, and Israel was commanded. So what about counting the Omer? We'll get to that. But first of all, why is there no Shechianu on Sefirat HaOmer? We know a mitzvah that comes once a year gets a Shechianu. What is Sefirat HaOmer, chopped liver? Well, the same question we can ask about B'dikas Chometz, Biur Chometz, so we just did it not that long ago. There's a mitzvah to search and destroy Chometz. It's a mitzvah that comes once a year. We didn't make a Shechianu either. Why not? So the Meiri and the Ran explained to us, to make a Shechianu, you have to be in a joyous mood. You're taking a delicious roll or delicious cheesecake and you're destroying it. Erev Pesach, there's a mitzvah to destroy all Chometz. But there's a tinge of sadness there. I can't eat all the Entenmann's cheesecake. It's too much for me. I have to go and burn it and destroy it. And the delicious rolls from Angels of Bermans, I have to destroy it. So even though it's a mitzvah, there's a tinge of sadness that I have to destroy perfectly good Chometz. And therefore, you're not in the mood to make a Shechianu on B'dikas Biur Chometz. And the Ran gives a similar explanation for Sefirat HaOmer. Sefirat HaOmer, what do you mean counting the Omer? You count when you bring an Omer of barley on the Mizbeach. So when we count the Omer, we remind ourselves we have no Mizbeach. We have no Beit HaMikdash. We can't bring a carbon Omer on the Mizbeach. So it's a tinge of sadness. When we count the Omer, we cannot do the other mitzvah involved. We count the Omer from the time when you bring an Omer, a kilo of barley on the Mizbeach. We have no Mizbeach. We have no temple. So therefore, by counting the Omer, there's a tinge of sadness. We cannot do the other mitzvah. So it's only a Zeichel HaMikdash, and therefore, we don't make a Shechianu for Sefirat HaOmer either. Because Shechianu, you have to be joyous mood, and by counting the Omer, we remind ourselves that we cannot bring the carbon Omer because we have no Beis HaMikdash, we have no Mizbeach. So Zeichel HaMikdash, Zeichel HaKorban. We cannot do that. Another explanation. When you make Shechianu, that's the goal. You shake a lulav, you eat matzah, you sit in a sukkah, you blow the shofar, that's the goal. You've reached the goal of the mitzvah, you make a Shechianu. But Sefirat HaOmer, I haven't reached the goal yet. Sefirat HaOmer is an ongoing process, day by day, onwards and upwards. I'm climbing the spiritual soul ladder. I haven't reached the goal. The goal will only be 49 days later. We count 49 days because we're 49 levels of Tumah. Every day we shed a level of Tumah and we gain a level of Kedusha. So therefore, we can't take a Shechianu Sefirat HaOmer. We have not reached the goal. The goal will only be reached 49 days later on Chag Matan Torah. And then we do make a Shechianu on Chag Shavuot because we have reached the goal. But we're just in the process now, onwards and upwards, day by day. And therefore, since we have not attained the goal yet, which is Chag Matan Torah, so we do not make a Shechianu, only on Chag Shavuot when we have attained the goal, we prepared ourselves personally for receiving the Torah. Now, Man Ishtana Sefirat HaOmer Mishar Mitzvot, says the Magen Avraham in Shulchan Aruch asks, Man Ishtana, we're not finished yet. Other mitzvahs. Kiddush, you can make through a shliach. Person makes Kiddush and Havdalah, you listen, it's like you said it yourself. Shofar, Megillah, Shomea Ka'oneh. By listening to Kiddush and Abdallah, by listening to the Megillah, it's like you said it yourself. When it comes to Sefirat HaOmer, says the Magen Avraham, doesn't work like that. Each one has to count himself. And you're not yoitza with the other guys counting. Why not? Why is it not like Kiddush and Abdallah? One guy makes Kiddush and 100 people are yoitza. Same thing Abdallah. Same thing Megillah. But man ishtana Sefirat HaOmer, but you don't say Shemea Ka'oneh. You can't make a shliach. You have to count yourself. Why is that? Says the Magen Avraham, because each and every Jew is unique and special. That only I alone can contribute to Tikkun Olam. No one can do it my way. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. It's not like Kiddush and Abdallah. I can appoint a shliach. Or Megillah. Shemei Ka'oneh shliach. Sefirat HaOmer, says the Magen Avraham and Shulchan Aruch, everyone has to count themselves. Because we're all unique and special. And only I can contribute my unique Tikkun Olam that no one else can do it my way. The purpose of the counting is to energize and rejuvenate every Jew to discover his or her unique personal way of Kabbalat Torah. Every Jew counts because every Jew counts. Get it? Every person counts because every person counts. Sefirat HaOmer commands us to make time count. The word svartem, to count, comes from the word sapir. Svartem from the word sapir. Sapir in Hebrew means sapphire. Remember Kingfisher's wife, Sapphire? Each day should be cherished, unwrapped, like a precious sapphire. We count up, not down. Malum Bakodesh. When it comes to Kedusha, we move it on up. Sefirat HaOmer. Now, is it only for men only? A woman can count if she wants. Like she can do any positive, any time-bound mitzvah, even though she's not obligated, even though she's not exempt, even though she is exempt from time-bound mitzvot. Why are women exempt from time-bound mitzvot? So the Baal HaTosfos says something amazing. Osik b'mitzvah poter min mitzvah. We have a cloud where you're occupied to do a mitzvah, you're exempt from other mitzvah. Women are exempt from putting on tefillin and sitting in a sukkah and shaking a lulav and counting the Omer. They're exempt from time-bound mitzvot because if you're occupied in one mitzvah, you're exempt from the other. Which mitzvah is a lady occupied in? Taking care of her family. Taking care of her wife and children. The husband. Her family. That's more important to God than putting on tefillin. Or wearing tzitzis. Or sitting in a sukkah. The woman, the wife, the mother, she's occupied 24/7 in the midst of caring for her family. That takes precedence over putting on tefillin and tzitzis, etc. But if they want, they can do the mitzvah, even though they're not obligated. The question is, should they do Sefirat HaOmer, even though they're not obligated, or should they not? So according to Kabbalah, let's see. Torah says to count 50 days. We count 49 days, and the 50th day is Chag Matan Torah. Says the Zohar in Parshas Yisro. How many times is the Exodus from Egypt mentioned in the Torah? 50 times. The Exodus from Egypt is mentioned in the Torah, says the Zohar, 50 times. There are 50 levels of Kedusha, and there are 50 levels of Tumah. Once you hit the 50th level of Tumah, you're gone. So God had a rush us out of Egypt. We were slipping in spiritual quicksand. Memtesh Shari Tumah, God took us out quickly before we hit the 50th. So we count 49 days to shed the level of 49 levels of Tumah, and then on the 50th day, Chag Matan Torah, we can enter the 50th level of Kedusha. So we count 49 days because we men were Memtesh Sharei Tumah when we left Mitzrayim. So each day we shed one level of Tumah till Kabbalah Satorah. But since women were not in Memtesh Sharei Tumah, only the men were in the 49 levels of Tumah. The women were not. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Who said that? We have to count the Omer to get rid of our personal Tumah. But the ladies were not in the levels of Tumah. The whole Exodus happened for the righteous women who didn't sin. They were not defiled in Egypt as the men were. If women count, they're implying that they too are in the 49 levels of Tumah. And they also need the 49 days to shed their Tumah. So according to Kabbalah, ladies should not count because they're being Moisi Shemra. They're putting a bad rap on the Noshim Tzadkaniot, the righteous women of Egypt. The whole Exodus happened not for Moses and Aaron and the elders, for the righteous women, says the Gemara. And the Zohar says just like the first redemption from Egypt was only for the righteous women, so the final redemption from Corona will also happen only in the schus of righteous women. So the Kabbalah says if women count the Omer, they're Motzi Shemra. How do you say that in English? They're slandering the righteous women of Egypt. So don't count. La halacha, women may count, even though they're exempt. But according to Kabbalah, women should not count. Not to put a bad name on the righteous women who are not in the 49 levels of Tumah, who don't need the counting. We men need it, because we were in the 49 levels of Tumah, and every day we shed a level of Tumah, and we gain a level of Kedusha. Sefirat HaOmer tells us to make time count. We count each day to make each day count. Zman in Hebrew means time, but Zman in Hebrew also means to prepare. Now we know in Hebrew when there's one word with two different meanings, there has to be a connection. Zman means time, but Zman also means to prepare. Why is it the same word in Hebrew? God gives us time in this world to prepare for Olam Haba. Zman, we have time, but Zman means to prepare. God gives us time in Olam Hazeh in order to prepare for Olam Haba. As the Mishnah says in Ovot, chapter 4, this world is compared to a lobby or a foyer. Prepare yourself in the lobby, use your time wisely in order to enter the Traklin in Olam Haba. Use your Zman to prepare. Hini Mukhanim Zuman. Past, present, and future. Why is the present called present? It's a gift. The present is called a present because it's a gift from Hashem to use our time to prepare ourselves for eternity. There's a famous poem that my Rabbi taught me. Rabbi Loshansky, Zechat Tzadik Levracha. Chaim Loshansky, Zechat Tzadik Levracha. My dear friend and mentor who passed away on Pesach at the age of 99 years old. Chaim Loshansky, Zechat Tzadik Levracha. From Harnof. He taught me this poem. I'll say it in Hebrew and I'll translate. Odom doeg al ibud damav. Ve'eno doeg al ibud yamav. Damav eino mozrim. Yamav eino chozrim. Odom doeg al ibud damav. A person worries he lost money on the stock market. Stock market went down 40%. But he doesn't worry about losing his days. He's wasting his days on narishkeit. His money, whether he wins it or loses it, is not going to help him on the day of death. and the days will never come back to him. Sefirat HaOmer teaches us, today is the first day of the rest of your life. Sefirat HaOmer teaches, take it one day at a time. Sefirat HaOmer teaches us that no challenge is so great that it can't be overcome if it is only broken down into manageable pieces. There was no way that the Jews, just freed from physical and spiritual slavery, 49 levels of Tumah, could immediately achieve the level of Naasav and Ishma in meeting God face to face. But to seek with this gradual spiritual growth, the achievement of each day, spiritual harvest, and achievement of each day becomes a resource for the challenges of the next day and so on. Day by day, what I achieve today gives me the capacity and the spiritual resources to do even more tomorrow. When King Solomon dedicated the Beis HaMikdash in Kings 1, chapter 8, he prays to God, Umishpat Amo Yisrael Devar Yom Beyomo. He prays to God in Kings 1, chapter 8, God, judge your people each day by its day. Give us a chance to grow and progress, says King Solomon. Judge us Yom B'Yomo. The judgment of Israel, to judge us, but each day in its day, day by day. The message of Sefirat HaOmer is that living one day at a time is a year-round success formula for facing and confronting the tough challenges of life, like Corona, and achieving spiritual growth. We take it one day at a time. Deal with today. If we get through today, tomorrow will be better. Judaism means never to give up hope. Keep hope alive. That's Sefirat HaOmer. Each of us counts because each of us counts. Sefirat HaOmer, the word sapir, every day should be cherished like a precious sapphire. Thank you.
For more of Rabbi Sprecher's teachings, visit rabbisprecher.com.